good.
Zach, I know the focus kind of is going to be the Giants all week, but you do have 3 games in 11 days. What's the biggest challenge just as far as a coaching staff when you have that many games in that short period?
I think just making sure your guys prepare, making sure they can go out there and execute what you're asking them to do, put them in the best position to succeed. I know me personally and us personally, like I'm all on the Giants. I haven't even worried about nobody else. Like I'll stay up late or get up early when those guys, when those guys show up. But I'll focus on the Giants. So just preparing that way and whatever challenges other teams may present, however many days we have to prepare for them, we'll make sure we get the work done and be in the best position to succeed.
Zach, there's a randomness to turnovers to some degree. They come in bunches, and it's just how the ball bounces some. But for the numbers to be down where they are, as you had this bye week, did you go back and look and see how much are you creating the plays you want to create to try and force them? Maybe is that not matching the results, or is it just are you not creating enough of those kinds of plays?
I think that it's a combination. I think that we've had opportunities that we didn't take advantage of, even whether it's drop interceptions or we get a sack, but we're not stripping at the ball. And then I think also with some of the plays, obviously blitzes and stuff that causes more turnover. So we look at all that throughout the bye week. So I'm excited. Our guys are aware of it. We made a big emphasis, coming out of these last 4 games, we want to be able to generate takeaways and play red zone defense. So our guys are aware of it. They practice at it. We got a good job getting the ball out today in practice. A good job getting the ball out Monday and yesterday as well. So I'm excited to go out there and see what these guys do Sunday.
Zach, along those lines, Kyle Hamilton yesterday was kind of asked what was the next step, and he said you guys have done a good job of limiting the big plays, the last few games before the bye, but he kind of said it's time to start attacking people.
Yeah.
Do you feel a growing sense of confidence in these guys maybe kind of, eliminating those big plays, but get to a point now where you can start playing downhill a little bit more?
Yeah, I definitely think so, man. I think that, the guys with eliminating the explosives, you definitely build confidence just in defense and just the guys out there, playing along with each other. So I think that, it was something that we didn't want to have happen early, and you can lose a little bit of confidence, and you kind of get, play a little bit on your heels when you start getting up a lot of explosives every single game like we were doing for a good bit. I think now that has calmed down a little bit, guys are trusting each other more, trusting the scheme more, and just feel like they can go out there and go play and know that if I do my job, the person next to me is going to be where they're supposed to be at.
Zach, to piggyback off that question, Chris Yu, when we talked to him last week, said that the defense had been simplified somewhat, at least on the back end. I mean, does being more aggressive and being more exotic kind of go hand in hand, or are those two separate notions?
I think you can still be aggressive and exotic and still keep it simple. A lot of times, you can try to do a lot of stuff or have a lot of different play calls in, and I think we've done a good job of just simplifying just the verbiage and just trusting our guys that it might not be the perfect play call for the perfect situation, but just trust them that they go out there and play the fundamentals and play the technique, that they'll be fine. So I think that's what we kind of got more to. I think we definitely still exotic, definitely still would get to a lot of our stuff that we want to get to and attack protections, attack offenses, but just simplifying a lot of the verbiage and a lot of the checks, I think help us out a lot.
Zach, sometimes in a bye week, a team will really maybe make a substantive change to something, and your team kind of did it on the fly before you ever got to the bye week. Specifically, what did you take care of in terms of self-scouting? What was your focus on self-scouting over the bye week?
Just really looking at what the issues were, what we did well, and then where we struggled at, and why we were struggling, and what we can build on and what we can do going on these last 4 weeks. So I think we looked at everything, man. It was a real productive week. I felt like we got a lot done as a coaching staff, but I specifically looked at, the plays we were giving up. Why we were giving up? Was it, certain calls or certain opponents we're going against, certain coverages, certain blitzes, certain players? We looked at all that, and then looked at what our guys are doing well, and then how we can build on that and how we continue to do that, and how we can, complement that with other things and new things that the offense may not see, and just really put our guys in the best position. So I think it was real productive. I'm excited about, what we got done in the bye week, and excited about, what we can be able to do going forward.
Zach, what stands out to you about Malik Neighbors?
Yeah, man, I remember watching just crossover tape, watching a lot of guys in the SEC DBs, and him sticking out, man. He's an explosive player. He kind of, he's not there yet, but he kind of reminded me just from his college tape, kind of like a Jamar Chase, from the sense of he's explosive, he can make contested catches, he gets the ball in his hands, he's a good rack guy. So he's a good player. They feature him. They trust him a lot. He's one of their leading receivers, one of their leading targets. Him and Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's a good player. We definitely got to know where he's at and make sure we take care of him and not let him wreck the game.
Zach, Tavius Robinson has carved out a bigger role without necessarily getting a lot of attention for it from the outside. From your standpoint, where has he grown the most this year?
I think in all aspects. I mean, T-Rob always been a hard-working, a physical player. I think now that the game has kind of just slowed down for him, and you're able to see him just even play even more faster, play more aggressive, and play even more physical. And I think he's even developed better as a rusher as well. So T-Rob's one of those guys who, he's a Raven through and through. He's a guy that we love, not talked about a lot, but just does his job consistently. Might not get the praise on the outside, but get a lot of praise, in our meeting room and in our building, because he does everything the right way. If he doesn't do it right, and he's trying to do it right, he's going to correct it. So I'm happy with T-Rob. I think he's only going to continue to grow and get better. And, he's going to be very important for us down these last 4 games.
Zach, as you've
how these last 4 are, how big they are for you, and it's an unusual schedule to it. Do you have to hit more one at a time with the guys? And then when you played, was it hard not to peek ahead and kind of think what if?
No, I think you definitely know what's on the horizon, but I think we do a good job here, even when I was a player, expressing like, man, you got to stay single and focus on what's going on. We know that this is a day-to-day game, a week-to-week league, and before you get down the line, you have to handle what's in front of you. So that's what we focus on, and we understand that everything out there is going to be for us, but we have to make sure we handle our business first with whoever we're going against. And I just love the mindset that since I've been here, the Ravens have is it don't matter who we're playing, where we're playing, when we're playing at. We got to show up and we got to go play our best brand of football if we want to go get accomplished what we want to get accomplished.
Have you made that an emphasis? Have you made that an emphasis, though? I mean, the Giants at 2-11, they're missing a bunch of guys. They're down to their first-string quarterback, and with Pittsburgh, KC right there to follow, to make sure they do stay here in this moment this week.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully be told, we haven't talked nothing about the record. We haven't talked to anything about the other opponents on the horizon. Like our mindset, we playing a little bit better, but we're not where we want to be at, especially as a defense. I know we're not where we want to be at as a team, and just the mindset coming out the bye, it was good for us to reload, refocus, and we got back and we said, I don't care who on the schedule. We got business to handle. So that's what we got to go out there and go do. So we're not really looking at that. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? It could be one of the greatest teams ever that everybody say we're going against. We got to prepare the right way and make sure we have our stuff ready to roll.
Zach, with the bulk of the season behind you, and as you navigate this role as coordinator, what are some of the adjustments you've had to make to continue to learn and grow in your role?
That's a good question. I got to think about that for a second. I think that a lot of it's trust your instincts.
Mm-hmm.
Trust your instincts. You're in a position for a reason, and I would probably honestly say that just trust your instincts. I think that, and also just trust the players. Let them go out there and go do their thing, man. And not that I haven't, but just even more. Just like the players are the ones who make the plays. So it's a great call when a player make a great play, even if they didn't do the right thing that you wanted them to do. And it could be a bad call if they did everything right and somebody made a great play. So just let them go out there. Don't overthink it. Just trust your instincts and let the chips fall where they may.
Bye. Obviously this week you're focusing on the Giants. During the bye, how did you kind of split up your time knowing that you had 3 games in 11 days?
Spent a decent amount on us. Spent some time on the future opponents. And then the back end of the week, we turned our focus to the Giants.
When you go back and look and you take that week, how much value do you find in the self-scouting and self-reflection? You get that little extra time to do that. Do you find that particularly beneficial this week?
You find a few nuggets. I mean, our coaches do a great job each week trying to self-scout ourselves, but there's a few things that come up that, when you have a little bit more extended time that you're able to look at and say, okay, we can be better here, whether it's calling it, preparation, concepts, whatever it might be.
Did you feel that bye week was just necessary at this point? I mean, this team started earlier than just about everybody but the Chiefs. You had the latest bye week, and now you're heading into 3 games, 11 days. Just time-wise, just How challenging has that been, and what was the benefits of the bye?
The benefits were, again, the things we talked about in terms of looking ourselves and then future opponents. You can see it in terms of our injury report. You can see it in terms of having the week for our guys. To me, it's more for our players and their bodies more than it is us. I mean, it's what we do. We came in, we worked just like we would as if we were, if it was a game week. So, it came at, you always say that it comes at the right time, but I think it did.
Todd, Mark Andrews is one touchdown from the organization record. From your perspective, what makes him so special?
Competitiveness. I mean, he's an elite competitor. I think that's the best way to put it. Football's important to him. Everything we do is important to him. Meetings are important to him. His body is important to him. How he plays. So he's a top level competitor. One of the top competitors I've ever been around.
Do you ever dial him back, like training camp in July, or because he's so intense in everything he does?
He does a pretty good job of monitoring himself. You'd have to ask him that. I haven't ever. I think we've had to do that with, any of our players that go as hard as he goes. I think that's he probably would run himself in the ground, but you'd have to ask him that. Like it doesn't feel like we've ever monitored that, other than when he's been nicked up a little bit, because he doesn't want to be out. He really wants to be in there. He loves playing the game.
Good.
Todd, we have Army and Navy playing here in this area this week. I know you're not a disinterested observer of that. Do you be able to see Jeff at all when he's here? Or?
I would doubt it.
Okay.
Would go Army.
Yeah.
Todd, obviously the Giants have lost some guys up front for their pass rush. You guys have had the opportunity for the offensive line to regroup and get healthy over the break. Just how do you kind of see that matchup shaping up, and I guess what are your kind of expectations for the line over these next 4 weeks?
Well, I thought the guys that they played last week played pretty well. Like I didn't see, a significant drop off. I mean, they're pros. They've been waiting for their opportunity. So we're gonna have to play well. We're gonna play a lot better than we did a couple weeks ago, and our guys are up to that challenge. I think the bye week's gonna help, and we got to be ready to go. I mean, not only their guys up front, but 5 of the last 6 games that they played have been one-score games. I mean, let's say it like it is. They're certainly more than capable, and they do a good job on defense. Schematically, they get good players. We're going to have to play our butts off.
Todd, as you get into these December, January games, how much does weather affect game planning?
I guess it could if you knew in advance, what you're getting. We don't always know in advance what we're getting. I do think your ability to be able to run the ball, play with physicality, control the game that way, certainly carries you maybe more in wind than it does rain. But it hasn't come up yet this year to where I've thought about that part of it.
Todd, I don't know if you followed it at all, but I'm curious if you had any reaction to Bill Belichick taking the UNC job. Pay attention at all?
I don't know how to react. Good for him. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, good for anybody that has an opportunity to be a head coach again, whatever level that might be. I'm sure it's an exciting time for him, those that go with him there, and for the University of North Carolina. I mean, so good for him.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Chris, has your approach to returning kickoffs changed since you've been learning this new kickoff and all that it requires? Do you want? What have been kind of your structure on that as this progressed?
I think looking forward to what we did earlier in the year, I don't think the approach has changed as much as what we would initially thought. I think if teams gives us a ball, our philosophy still is, hey, we want to return that ball, depending on how deep the ball is in the end zone and things like that. I think again, I still don't see any benefit of a ball that's 2 to 3 yards deep in the end zone for us to bring that ball out right now. Now, as we continue to study the play, here we are with 4 games left. We're starting to see some things. I think we're doing things a lot better than what we did early in the year from learning from the play, but I don't think the approach has changed much at all.
And as it gets colder, generally the ability to just kick the ball, deep in the end zone or out of it may not be there as much as it had been earlier in the season. So what have you learned about returning and also covering in this new format? Do you think now that it's more likely you have to deal with it on more oftentimes in the game?
It's one of the things that, again, we're still continuing to look at. We still don't have a lot of plays from our standpoint. I think we tend to do things a little bit differently than what I've seen from across the league, from as far as how we want to set up on the ball, how we want to block. So I think as we continue to go through the practices, we continue to force ourselves, while we're out here. We don't put the ball in the end zone. We're returning the ball. So it gives us a little bit some tape to watch to kind of see how these things work out. But as the weather changes, yes, we are going to get more kicks, and I think if our guys are doing a pretty good job of blocking now and putting ourselves in positions to hit big returns, and I like the two guys that we have back there.
I haven't seen the numbers league-wide, but from your standpoint, do you feel like it's any harder to break a long return than it was under the previous system?
I wouldn't necessarily think it's a lot harder. I think the angles have changed a little bit, and kind of how you're setting up on the play. I think the play happens a lot faster. The coverage guys get on you a lot quicker, which closes the lanes a little bit faster. But I don't necessarily think that you can't hit big returns. We've seen across this league there has been touchdowns, there has been 40+ yard returns. Those things are showing up weekly. But again, I think it all goes back to how the coverage team also plays that play, because there is a defense on the other side of it.
How has Justin been in practice this week? You seen what you want to see out of him?
I've seen what I want to see. I see what I've seen out of him every week in practice. He's been doing awesome in practice. He's in a good place, and I know he's ready. He's ready to get out there and go play.
Chris, is there anything that you can do to kind of simulate the game-like pressures during practice, or is it just basically when the lights come on, you got to be ready?
No, it's we try to get out there. We say we want to go out there and practice how we're going to play. Obviously, we can't be out there knocking each other around and things like that. But we do a good job of sending edge pressure off the edges and things like that to get guys in his face. So again, you just got to go out there and you got to go play. It's game day.
I think Justin was kicking in a pretty strong rainstorm yesterday. Did he want to go out there and do that in the elements just to get that work, or what?
I don't necessarily think, Ryan, it was the elements. I think once we were done with our special teams practice, this indoor isn't big enough for us to kick on both ends of the field. You got an offense and a defense, so it was a part of, hey, we can go outside and we can get some work. What a great day to go out there and do it, because the guys wasn't done yet. That's all I think it was.
I just saw at the league meetings, Troy Vincent was talking about the onside kick and it being a dead play, as he said. Just curious your perspective on onside kicks and whether you feel like, hey, that's a part of the game that should continue or what.
I haven't really thought that much into it. Obviously, when you're on the hands team, your hands team's out there. It's important that you recover the football, right? Obviously there's been 3. We've been on the other end of it. 2 of them, happened against us. But you know what? You go out there, man. It's a hard play. It's a hard play to get that ball. You really can't do a lot. You got to be stationary. You can't move guys around and things like that. So, whatever they decide to do, they do. We're just gonna roll with it.
Chris, this team signed Deontay Hardy in the offseason. There was a lot of excitement about adding a returner of his level. Just how disappointing has it been just for him to not be able to see the field due to injury and not being able to be out here after adding a guy that was so dynamic?
I really can't speak to how he feels. I know it's probably got to be frustrating for him, but for us, man, it's just, hey, let's coach the guys that are out there. Let's get the most out of the guys that are out there, and let's be as productive as we can. And I think for him, it's I don't know how he feels and things like that. I've had conversations with him, but he's doing good.
Rasheen Ali had a larger role returning kicks prior to the bye. What did you like? What did you see from him? What did you like? What did he bring to the table?
Oh man, Rasheen's just a ball player. He's good with the ball in his hands. He's got good bursts. He's fast. He's physical. And again, to the question I was asked earlier about just the ability to hit big returns, that hole opens up and it closes pretty quickly now. It doesn't stay as open as long. So I think with Rasheen sees and what the backs give us as an opportunity, they see that all the time. And so I just think the more touches he get, the more yards we're going to be getting on kickoff return.
Physically or mental health? getting that body this late in the season?
No, I think it's key for everybody. Keep your money in, your mind and body's right. Wait for a little bit, reset, and then come back ready to work.
You have that at this point. It's your final four, so critical where you want to get. So you got 3 games in 11 days. The final 2, big playoff teams. You got this team that's 2-11. It could be a trap game. How do you make sure you guys avoid that?
But I think we take it one game at a time. Focus on what we need to do, execute wise on all 3 phases. Go out there and practice that, and let it transition to the game. Focus on what we need to do, not so much the opponent. Doing ourselves. When they're playing our solid football, we give ourselves the best chance.
Derrick, you've got a great track record of playing well late in the season, December, January. What do you think is the key in being able to do this?
I don't know. I think players I play with doing a great job, and they're making my job easier. For me to do my job, the guys up front have to do a great job, and credit to that. That's happened in the past, but just focus on it right now. I know that it's similar history, but I'm just focused on me playing better, being better, and being the best player I can to help this team.
As you've come back from the bye, how would you kind of describe the team's mindset going into these final 4 games of the regular season?
Yeah, everybody's energized. Everybody's glad to be back. Had a great bye week. Be able to reset. I know we definitely missed playing football, but great to be back, flying around, and get ready to play this week.
Year 1 with the team, 1 touchdown shy of setting an all-time franchise record touchdowns. What does that mean to you? What would that mean to you again?
I try to leave the individual stuff, out of it, trying to focus on the team. And, that is, like I said, really credit all the guys that made it possible for me to get to the end zone. And just thankful for this whole journey of the organization and everybody's been part of it.
Derrick, obviously a change for you during the bye week. Hairstyle, I mean, what went into kind of going away from the dreads?
Just wanted to change something I've been wanting to do, and I finally did it.
Feel lighter?
Yeah, for sure.
Derrick, Ashton Jency, he's the running back at Boise State. What have you kind of seen from him? And I know he's up for the Heisman, would be the first running back since you to win it. Do you kind of think that he should get that?
Yeah, he's incredible, man. A player that is the whole game plan, and defenses know what's going to happen. They still can't stop it. I haven't seen him like that for a long time. I know he's close to getting to the record. I hope he gets it. Yeah, man. Running backs, man. I got a special place for running backs in my heart. So hopefully, he gets to win it. But him and Travis, they both had a great year. He can go either way. I feel like the close ones, it always happens that way. He can go either side. But they definitely been balling out, and I'm ready to see him in the playoffs. See what he does.
Just Ro, the bye week, what did you take from that, and how did it kind of serve as a reset for this team?
Oh yeah, no, the bye week was great. It's a long season for a reason, and yeah, it was really good. And being able just to get away, have that reset, even just mentally, like getting back here on Monday, it was just like wow, like felt like a brand new person. In a sense, like the game is definitely stressful, but we're excited about this run we're about to make, and it starts this week with New York. So excited about the opportunity.
Well, along those lines, what is your view going into this final 4-game stretch of the regular season?
Treat it like the playoffs. Treat it like the playoffs each and every game, each and every play. Treat it like it's your last, because it very well could be, regardless of like how you want to approach it, knowing that there are other games that are guaranteed, but you're not guaranteed another play. Anything can happen. So just having that type of mindset and have that type of mindset and play with no governor, no ceiling on yourself, each and every guy, and the sky's the limit.
3 games in 11 days, first on Sunday. I don't think I probably have ever done that. So how do you handle that physically and mentally? You have an idea?
Line it up, chin up, chest out. Like I always live by. I don't really care too much about that. Because at the end of the day, when there's an opponent out there, like that individual is trying to provide for their family. So regardless of how bad someone is hurting or what they're thinking mentally, you're gonna go put it all on the line because that's your job, and you're trying to provide for your family and as well for yourself.
Defensively, the production has gotten a lot better the last 3 games in terms of points allowed. He's bringing big plays away. How do you get back to then also forcing turnovers while still allowing the big plays to not be there?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just goes back to doing your job. Like, it's hard for our offense to just continue play in and play out, play mistake-free football. So when those opportunities come, those takeaways come, they come in bunches, and we believe in that, and we can't press at all. We just got to keep doing our job, each and every guy, do your job, including myself, and if we do that, everything else will take care of itself.
Roquan, I'm sure you guys respect all your opponents, but obviously the Giants aren't having a great season right now. When you're going on the road to play a team like this, is it important to kind of get out to a quick start to kind of not give a team like that confidence at home?
Yeah, I think the main message this week is setting the tone early as far as a defensive perspective, like with Orr. But I don't think about it as like, oh, these guys won 2-3 games or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, each and every one of those guys have a job, and they're trying to audition for a job for next year. Those guys have a family at home. Some have wife, kids. So at the end of the day, a man is gonna give everything he got to provide for that and willing to put his life on the line. I'm speaking from my perspective, and I know guys over there on that side of the ball, on that team as well, who willing to do the same thing. So I don't look at it as like, oh, these guys are hurt, and a hurt individual is the most dangerous. Just like you backed up in the corner, you're gonna go for what you know, and that's what those guys are gonna do. But it's up to us by doing what we're gonna do, and that's imposing our will, and we got to do that from the first snap to the last.
You know, I late by as well. But it was good to get away. You know, good to just be with family and whatnot. But you know, we're back now. Give us some time to rejuvenate, reset. And, you know, it's back to work.
Defensively, you guys have taken so many questions this season about either whether it's communications, misplays in the back end, and Zach just kind of taking over and everything being new. This group in particular, the last month, now the bye, and what's ahead of you. How do you feel confidence-wise going into it with the way the defense has been playing?
Yeah, I think you know, just going forward, I think we're all feeling pretty good. You know, we definitely have you know, executed, you know, ways that we like. You know, still have more room to move on. But yeah, we're feeling good, feeling confident. But you know, we got this one. You know, this Sunday. This one we're looking forward to.
It's a big topic. 3 games in 10 days once Sunday happens. Just how are you planning to approach that? It's unusual.
Yeah, like, you know, like I said, we're just focused on this one, and you know, and we're really not even looking too far ahead. You know, we know that we have 3 games in 10 days, but you know, right now the Giants is the only thing we're focused on.
What do you see from Malik Neighbors when you watch him on tape?
Yeah, he's you know, talented receiver. I think that's, you know, that's what shows on film. But you know, we're all looking forward to the matchup.
Brandon, what do you think the defense, particularly the secondary, needs to do to continue to leverage some of the success you started to see towards before the bye?
Yeah, I think we just have to continue to, you know, be on the same page, communicate, you know, like we've been doing the last couple of weeks, and just playing our style of defense, you know, just playing free and playing confident out there.
Zach talked about the defense's desire to generate more turnovers. How much of that is a mentality thing where you're like, all right, I'm going to take this chance, I'm going to try to jump this, versus changes that you actually make?
Yeah, I think, you know, you never want to just chase plays, you know what I mean? I think we just have to continue to, you know, play our style, you know, and when the ball shows up, you know, I think we have to just take advantage of our opportunities, you know, catch the ones that give us, you know, strip the ball, whatever the case may be, we just have to take advantage of our opportunities.
Zach said, I'm not even mention the Giants' record in the meetings and so forth. Yeah. Do you believe in the concept of a trap game with the Steelers looking right after this in such a huge divisional game right after that?
No, we're not paying attention to the record. You know, they're you know, any team, it's any given Sunday. You know what I mean? You have to prove yourself each Sunday. But no, I don't really feed into the trap game mentality. You know, they're fully capable of winning. You know what I mean? And that goes for every team. So yeah, we just have to, you know, play our game and, you know, play to win.
When the quarterback has gone back and forth with them, but now, I mean, you know, it's DeVito. Is that a new wrinkle where you kind of know that that's a little bit late, that they kind of been going back and forth with him and Locke's hurt? Does that change anything from your preparation of wasn't sure and now you know and that might change?
Not really. It doesn't change much. You know, obviously you're going to study the quarterback that they have in there, but you know, we're preparing for whoever shows up. You know, I think that's how we're supposed to do.
Thank you.